Addiction is not a sign of weakness, a character flaw, or a moral failure. It is a widespread condition that affects millions across all ages. If you're struggling, you're not alone. This is a typical phrase common amongst therapists. It's understandable that they would attempt to ease the process for their patients. It's important also to understand that addiction is a chronic disease that affects brain structure and function. But it is a sign of weakness, it is a character flaw, and it is a moral failure. Addiction is a paradox. It's about the struggle between the desire to abandon a pleasurable habit and the compulsion to continue it. Despite being intelligent beings, we often find ourselves hijacked by our brain's reward system. This system drives compulsive behavior, even when we know it's harmful and, even worse, harmful to the people surrounding us. When you attempt to quit any kind of addiction, be it a behavior or a substance, the cravings can intensify, especially in the first year. Statistics show that 90% of people who quit relapse within a year. Addiction exerts a powerful influence on the brain, manifesting in craving for the objects of addiction, loss of control over its use, continued involvement despite negative consequences. Take for example the story of Morasy. He was one of the toughest people you could meet. He endured unimaginable torture during wartime, broken fingers, severe toes, and countless cuts, but never squealed. After the war, many soldiers turned to alcohol, and Morasy was no exception. Despite his remarkable endurance and willpower, he found himself struggling with alcoholism. Morasy thought that if he could withstand such severe physical pain, he could also resist the discomfort of abstaining from alcohol. He believed that it was all about resolve and resistance. However, Morasy found himself increasingly pained and confused as he couldn't remain abstinent. He realized that the challenge of addiction wasn't just about willpower, seeing how it overrides logic and reason. It was about facing the self and its weaknesses. This brings us to the question, can addicts really help it? Socrates suggested that temptation can alter our perception, making harmful choices seem best at the moment. This explains why someone might think, one glass won't hurt, or I'll deserve this drink after a tough day. Our minds can play tricks, convincing us that yielding to temptation is justified. According to the American Society of Addiction, addiction is a chronic disorder involving changes in brain chemistry. It's not about lack of willpower. Treatment often includes medication, therapy, and support groups. I can agree with the first part. Look, I'm no doctor, but I know addiction messes up your brain structure, neuroplasticity, and all that. But I'm not sure about the second part where you have to drug yourself. If you have a strong addiction, you are one of the luckiest people on the planet. Nothing is more difficult than addiction. It's the last boss. If you can beat that, I'm sure you won't find anything else harder, because overcoming addiction involves more than just simply quitting a habit. The fight against addiction is about resisting temptation. It's about transforming your life in ways that support recovery. Firstly, it's crucial to separate yourself from people and places that encourage your addiction. This means distancing yourself from environments or social circles that promote or normalize the behavior you're trying to quit. The change can be as dramatic as leaving behind old friends who drink or use drugs and finding new supportive connections. This separation is akin to leaving a corrupted town and heading into a harsh desert. The desert represents the difficult journey you must undertake to reach a healthier place. Change is undeniably difficult. You'll face cravings, social pressures, and moments of weakness. I do believe it is the last boss, because it would take one hell of a personal resolve to make fundamental changes. So here's to those bravely battling addiction. It is darn tough, been struggling with it myself. I know how it feels. However, you must know that it manifests as the consequences of our questionable actions. So it is only fair that we take responsibility and fight to get over the most difficult of human experiences. With determination, it is most certainly possible.